Yo, what is up, guys? It is Needle here today. First off, I want to say thank you to you guys for getting 50 likes on yesterday's video. And as promised, I will be showing you guys my settings I use on Fortnite on controller, and I'll walk you through them right now. So to start, here are my basic just X, Y, and targeting sensitivity. So 7 on the X sensitivity, 0.65 on the Y, and then both my targeting, I'm running at 0.28. And then just got a little disclaimer on that is that if I'm going to change anything, it is most likely going to be the targeting sensitivity, my aiming sensitivity, just because that's what I feel is like usually the most off. I'm definitely adjusted and used to 7x and 0.65 on the Y, but I do fidget around and mess around with this a little bit, and I mean it can range from anywhere really to like I don't know, maybe even lowest is 0.25, and I've ran it up to like 0.35, even used to run in 0.4. So that kind of shows you how much that changes, and that's really personal preference on how you're playing. And another thing, a big thing to note here is that I'm running 1.5 building sensitivity. And then, as I made my video on yesterday, your building sensitivity will now affect your editing. So when you go to edit in Fortnite, there's going to be a multiplier on how fast you can get your edit and select it through. And that's going to be based off your building sensitivity right there. So the higher that is, the quicker you can edit and the faster you can make your edit plays. And just to show you guys here my other settings that I use just in case you were wondering, I'll go through and highlight some of the more important ones. So I'm going to run my heads-up display here. I'm going to run that at 0.9. And that's just personal preference. It's really up to you. And then here's an interesting one that a few people were telling me about. Sprint by default. I actually do not use sprint by default. I know some people were saying that on controller, just like one less thing to worry about when you're playing, and it kind of just does it for you either way. I tried it. I'm just not used to it personally. But I know if you do not play claw, if you turn this off, you can turn your edit onto the left stick or even mess around with your binds to make it work. So this is probably something useful to have if you're not playing claw, is to put sprint by default on. That you guys might want to know and might be useful for you guys is that tap to search, that's interact. If you're reviving someone, just hit square. It's going to hold the revive. You're not going to have to press it down and worry about messing up and fat fingering it just to mess up the revive. Some other things here. Aim assist on, of course. We are in the controller gang. We're bots. We can't hit our shots. So make sure you got the aim assist on. I run reset building choice off. That doesn't matter as much with the instant builds. Edit mode aim assist, this needs to be off. This is going to make your edit so much easier and so much smoother. When you have edit mode aim assist on, it's going to start dragging the corners, and it's going to just try to guide it for you, and it doesn't feel natural. I would definitely suggest turning edit mode aim assist off. Turbo building on, of course. I actually don't run controller auto run. That's something else to notice. I just know it's kind of annoying. It'll like lock in when I don't want it to. Auto open doors off. I feel like that's the one that gets me in trouble when I have had it on. Just walking through buildings and open up doors if you would just hear me. Like going through tilted, it just kind of gives away your position when you don't want to do that. Auto pick up weapons, have that off. That can be annoying also if there's like a gray pistol and you have a green AR and you just don't want to pick that up. Auto store consumables to the right, that is huge actually. So let's say you pick up a pump at the beginning and then you have bandages and you're just not used to making your switches that way or another. It's going to be useful to have auto store consumables to the right, just makes it a little bit simpler. And then Builder Pro, build immediately. This is something that's actually huge for nowadays. This really helps you keep up with all your kind of buildings compared to the PC players. And at first I really did not like this, but yeah, this is something I have to use now and I'm definitely used to it. Another interesting thing here is I do not run vibration. I don't know if that's just personal preference, but for me, I feel like when there's vibration, it's harder to hit my shots, and it's kind of shaky for me. Another thing to note here, just in case you might be wondering, is my brightness. I'm going to run my brightness all the way up on here, and this is simply because I have the PS4 Pro, and I'm coming from the regular PlayStation, just the standard one that's been out for like 6-7 years at this point. And I'm not used to the shadows on PS4 Pro. I know that's like the biggest thing wrong with consoles. Like it can run 60 frames on the PS4 Pro, but it's going to have terrible shadows. I don't know if I can get a clip that shows you it too well, but it can be really bad sometimes. It gets really bright sometimes too. So it's kind of weird to work with. Like you'll be in a 1x1 with somebody and you just will not see them because of the shadows. Everything will be so dark. So yeah, I do run my brightness up all the way. I might adjust that in the future as I mess around with my monitor, or maybe get a new monitor, because it can be very annoying on the PS4 Pro or Xbox One X if you're using that. And as far as my binds go, I'm going to be running off of Builder Pro. That's like the basis of all this. And then just to show you guys my binds, what I switch around, just highlight what I switch. So I'm going to be running my edit on my triangle button, and that would be Y on the Xbox. And then here's something that's really going to be helpful on PS4. I really don't think Xbox players can do this. But you can mess around with it. I have toggle pickaxe on the touchpad, like the big touchpad. it's just a huge button to hit, and it's super easy, and you're not pulling your pickaxe out as much as you think you would be. So that's an easy switch if you guys want to mess that around. Maybe throw your edit on there just to get used to it. That's what I like to do at least. And then, because the map, usually when you play in Builder Pro, your map is going to be on the touchpad, so I just switched my map right over to right on the D-pad. I think I got rid of the squad comms. Those are annoying to begin with. And then start with my build controls. Those are all going to be the same, just the standard stuff here. I messed around with like traps, trying to put it on like L1 before, but yeah, I just had that standard. But the thing I do have changed here in my edit controls. So I just switched this about a week ago, and I'm really happy I did. So what I'm going to be doing here is like have the standard when you're selecting an edit, R2, just to hit the blocks on the edit that you want. And then what I do, I know how, so what I did then is that R3 is usually going to be your reset, and that's just kind of clunky to hit. So I changed that over to R1 on the reset, kind of make it a little bit smoother since I can get my finger up there already. And then L2 on the confirm. I was running circle on the confirm for the longest, even when I had triangle as the edit, and it just was a lot smoother to have confirm on L2. That's for me at least. It reminds me of like the way I try to explain it is like Builder Pro, how just hitting all your builds up on L2, L1, R2, R1 is up on the triggers. It's super easy for some reason, so that's why I run that. These are going to be all my settings for my controller. And for the controller I use, I don't have a scuff or anything. I do have like the paddles. I have used those before. Not a fan. As I did mention, I played Claw. I'll throw a picture up right now if you know what Claw looks like. It's just a goofy alien looking like kind of thing with the way you hold the controller. It's weird looking, not natural, but that's just how I hold my controller. I've been doing that since Call of Duty way back in the day. And I do use a regular, just like the PS4, the DualShock controller, just the regular one it comes with. And then I do use a Control Freak though. So I use one Control Freak on my right thumbstick. And if you've ever bought Control Freaks, you know how it works. It comes with two. So the taller one, that's the one that's supposed to go on the right stick to guide your aim a little bit. And the left one, that goes on the left stick. It's like it's the tinier one, but it's still elevated. I use the tinier one that's meant for the left stick. I use it on my right stick, if that makes sense. I just didn't like how tall the one for the right stick was when I first got it, and I just didn't get used to it. So I used the left stick one on the right stick. That's just me though. And then I figured it'd only be fitting to go and do an edit aim practice course just to show you how these settings work, how I use it, just kind of the pace I go when I play with the building and whatnot. Show you guys some tips with that. So we'll hop into this right here. Okay, and then just to show you how fast you can build with this. So we're running on, as I showed, 7x, 0.65y, and 1.5 building strengths. So if you're thinking just like the old way of how just x and y work, for my x, that's going to be what, 10.5, and then y is going to be like around 9. So, I mean, it's pretty quick, as you can see here. You can really hit your builds when it comes to the 90s, whatever it may be. And then, yeah, it's super smooth for me, at least. I feel like this is, like, the best sensitivity for, like, hitting your 90s and your edits consistently without it being a little bit too crazy. Yeah, so you can see it's pretty quick. I'm not trying to say I have the fastest 90s in the world. I know they're not the greatest, but I feel like they are pretty quick, and in pubs at least I can hold my own. And then to end off the video, I'll show you guys this up here. This is just the straight edit tower. I know this is like the infamous edit thing. People going straight down. This course, I watched a video on it, and this guy was saying how he specifically made it that it's going to be like a real 1x1 and not just like someone building up where it's going to be like the same pattern of ramps and floors going down. So you do have to like actually make some decisions on this. It's going to be a little bit tougher than a regular one. So I'll run through real quick and to show you some highlights of that, of me editing down on it. I know this is supposed to be like the hardest thing, but personally, this is the thing I struggle with the most with editing, is editing through these 1x1s. I'll show you guys up here as an example. So you start up here, obviously, start on the ramp. I'm pretty good at making the initial, just the 1, 2, so making this edit, and then right down here to this. Like, I can do this. I'll go through full motion right here just to show you. Like, I know there are some crazy controller players that straight edit through like PC. I'm working on it. It's hard. I can't do that as of right now, but I'm definitely gonna work on it. But I mean, I can make it through here. And if you mess with your editing, like your binds and whatnot, it's gonna be a little bit harder to adjust to this like right away. So like switching sensitivity up, it's gonna be not as easy just to go right down through this. But the more you practice, the better you're gonna get, obviously. And don't be scared. And that's my thing. My biggest tip for this: don't be scared to go slow. You know, you see a lot of these people on PC, even on controller, just going straight down in like a minute on some of these, like, just insane editing. Don't be scared to go your own pace and just learn it yourself, because once it comes to in-game, as long as you can hit the edit and you're not, because you'll see, if you go too quick, like, something like you just can't hit the edit, it's going to do nothing. You might as well make sure you're getting the edit off at least. So just go at your own pace. You can tell I'm doing right here. I'm not going the crazy, but I'm hitting the edits. That's the big part about this. Thank you guys for watching this video all the way through. Make sure to turn on the notifications and hit the sub button. I hope you guys can learn some of my sensitivity and my settings. At least take some tips away from it, something you can apply to your game at all. Even this editing course, let me know if you want to see more videos on courses that are cool like that I use on and I enjoy. Try to hit 50 likes on this video right here for more videos coming up in the future. I will be streaming tonight at 6 p.m. if you're watching this right when it comes out, and I usually stream every night. Make sure to stop by those. And yeah, thank you guys. Hope you guys enjoy this video. See ya.